If you feel stuck in life, again, putting yourself first, giving yourself the time and space to be with you is an important part of the puzzle. There are many options to create a routine or regular practice to check in with yourself. The goal is to truly understand yourself and your needs. This will allow you to build the life that is best for you and best support the people around you. This week's video is part 2 of a chat with life and mindset coach Evelyn Fuson, where we discuss the different ways you can build a strong relationship with yourself so you can understand how to be the best version of you. I feel like what we're talking about largely here is the ability to be in that present moment and come back to that present moment. And I think for some of us, you can be functioning on that, doing all the things that you've got to do, and then you can forget that there's a missing piece of the puzzle about how do I actually feel right now, and coming back to that. And I know that some people have their, I'm very guilty of not having all the routines and the practices and stuff that people are meant to have. But, I know that people have their morning routines and their journaling practices and that sort of thing to keep them coming back to the moment. And would that sort of be what you'd recommend in this? Like, if someone like myself that's very guilty of not checking in and being present, what are the sort of things that you recommend in that circumstance?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're not guilty of anything. You haven't found a method that works for you and or a payoff that is in alignment. And so that's totally fine. Like, you're not guilty of anything. Nothing has worked yet or felt right to you, and that's perfect. Yes, I would encourage trying to find a regular time and a semblance of a regular practice that you try. You can try on different things. But the reason, like setting it up in your calendar to be consistent and something that you hold on to at a specific time and place. I had a business coach for years who said, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. And a lot of times too, with business owners, they will put their needs last instead of first, because there's this emphasis on the output. I should need to be busy. I need to be producing things. Well, you can continue on the output model until you are dead on the floor, and you'll continue being busy. How do you know that something is even something you want to be spending your time on if you don't know how you're doing or what you actually want and need? Because that will be reflected to your family, to your clients, to your community. I also, the same business coach, her husband talks about like putting other people first is actually pretty selfish. And what he means by that, there are going to be times and circumstances, of course, where you jump in, like you had something planned and you're like, I got you, like I'm going to step in and help out. When it's a regular pattern of you putting yourself last, putting everything else in front of you, again, you're pouring from an empty cup, from a place that's disconnected, unfulfilled in a lot of ways, and just mindless. Whereas if you will take the time to be present with yourself and create some of these habits for you, then you can also give that presence to others and bring them back as well to their own grounding. So yes, I think a daily, or if you're first starting out, daily might feel like a lot. So 2 to 3 times a week at your time, like really, again, are you a morning, afternoon, evening person? Something that you're going to look forward to, not something that feels forced or constricted, because who wants to do something like that? And it doesn't have to look like anybody else's thing. Maybe you're in a season too of figuring out like, what would that grounding experience be? How could I check in with myself? So maybe it's yoga, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's physically journaling, maybe it's buying a book that has different practices that you go through where someone lays out a formula. Maybe you like the open page, maybe you want to paint, maybe you want to do any of these things of being with yourself and really, really just giving yourself time and space to be with you is one of the first important, like, I'll say this too, because I have a partner who loves noise. Having something on with you while you do it is fine. I would recommend something with no words and something that actually does bring your focus to you. Otherwise, you're still doing busy work. You're trying to look productive in the space instead of being mindful in the space. So again, and a lot of times too, if this is new, it can feel like you want to run away from it because we're so used to being busy over presence. And so again, going back to the mind piece, if that feels like a complete, like you're like, oh God, I can't touch that with like a pinky, like then do it for 5 minutes at a time. It doesn't have to be half an hour. It doesn't have to be an hour. But really, really check in with yourself in that time, like make it a really rich 5 minutes. So whatever that looks like too. And there are different mindfulness podcasts that do shorter episodes. I wish that something was coming to mind. But you can create Instagram. I'm sure there's all kinds of different tools that are available to practice and try different things out. But what I would recommend too in that practice, if you're going to try something, I would do it for a couple weeks, like really try it and decide how you feel about it. If it doesn't fit and it's not the right thing for you, so be it. Like you tried it, you know that you don't like it, doesn't work for you. And I would be mindful that sometimes we say that we don't like something, but it's more because we're new at that something. We feel awkward. So that's why I recommend longer periods of time to try, because we all get to be beginners and it is awkward. And it's like, I don't know how to hold this. I don't know. I keep going back to health and nutrition because I think for me too, I've been trying to work on that for myself. And so one of the pieces too is like going to the gym. I've been trying to do some weightlifting and I feel awkward as hell. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm holding this right. I don't know how I look doing it. And, you know, sometimes too, even in that mode, some days it was just me putting the tennis shoes on and going to the gym and just walking around and familiarizing myself with the space. So again, I'm like priming myself to be in the space. And it's not yet like I'm crushing it, which can be hard too for high achievers or people who are used to knowing how to get an A on the test. I can raise my hand on that. So we're all kind of self-recovering in that way as well. So yes, routine, yes, implement it in small ways. Try something for a consistent amount of time, 3 weeks maybe. Again, you can stick a toe in, but put it on your calendar and guard it. Now, I will say this too. If you really are in a place where you're not ready to try it, do not put it on your calendar and violate trust with yourself by not doing it. Because every time we do that, every time we violate self-trust, we prove to ourselves we can't be trusted, and it's harder for us to build habits. So if it's really not something that you're interested in doing, you just want to, again, appease something that you feel like you should be doing, don't do it. It's not the right time.
Okay. I love it. So let me see if I've got this right in what we're trying to achieve in this being in the present moment, because we're talking about, you know, yoga and mindfulness and writing, you know, these things all provide a slightly different mode of being present. And I guess, like, would you explain what you're trying to achieve being around disconnecting from your thinking self and coming more into your observing self? So coming away from I need to be doing this, and back into how am I feeling about this? And, you know, or is it just mindfulness? Is it just trying to clear your mind? Is it just the moments to 5 minutes to disconnect from your thinking self and just be listening to your breath? Like, how do you see as, I don't want to say success, but how do you see as, like, how do you explain the aim of these activities? Like, what are you trying to achieve at the end of the day?
You're trying to achieve the most vibrant relationship with self that you could imagine. And so I liken this the same way to a relationship. I think people are surprised that they're having panic attacks, disorders in their brain, running on fumes, burnt out, and they can't figure out, well, what's wrong with me? Well, do you even know you? Do you even know what time of day you like to wake up? And sometimes, yes, you're in a 9 to 5, and so you don't have a choice over that. That may be a bad example. But do you know what food makes you feel most nourished? If a friend were to ask you, how can I support you? Do you know how to answer that? And so, and I don't say that in a judgment way at all. I say it in a very like knowing way because I've been there. I have been on the other side of what that looks like. And so all of these practices, if you have a romantic relationship, I started to say this, if you have a romantic relationship with someone and you can't answer basic questions about them, is it a good relationship? Probably not, because you haven't taken any time to prioritize them. And so in the same way, this is a radical act in the culture that we've grown up in, this busy, flurried, achievement oriented culture mindset. Run, gotta make the million, you gotta whatever that looked like to achieve success, in quotes. But we never really stop to ask, is the success I actually want? What does success actually look like for me? And if I don't know how to basically care for myself, why would I also ever trust myself to be successful? Because I haven't even done the work to know what that would look like.
What did you think about this week's chat with Evelyn? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out part 1 and 3 of this chat, where we cover the role of the mind and body connection in being stuck and how really getting to know ourselves helps us move forward and create the lives we want.